Hey guys, Logan Battles here, and welcome to another episode of Logan Battles Football Talk, where I'll be giving some pretty long discussions about any football-related subject. Football player, coach, stadium schedule, game, you name it. Every single thing about football that I can talk about in this series. For this one, we are going to be talking about the Miami and Notre Dame game, which kicked off yesterday. It was everybody's most anticipated game of the year, one of the most anticipated college football games of the year, just based on how high they are ranked, or were ranked. Last night, Notre Dame was ranked in the top 3. Miami was ranked in the top 10 formally. And if you watch the whole game, you know exactly what just happened. Miami dominated Notre Dame. 41-8. Yep. I mean, unlike the last game that I did an episode on, where I mentioned about not watching the whole game, and that's the Iowa and Ohio State game, I at least watched the second half of this game. I didn't watch the first half. Well, I think I watched the last couple minutes of the second quarter, but that was about it. I don't think it counts as the first half. I watched the entirety of the second half of the game, so I am here to give him my thoughts on this and how it went down. And yeah, like I said, if you watch the whole game, you saw how pretty good Miami was. In fact, really good. That they exploded. Absolutely exploded Notre Dame. Just completely dominate them like they're nothing to Miami. And yeah, that's about it. So here's the first note that I just put down. In the first half, the Miami Hurricanes shut out Notre Dame 27-0. Miami scored 27 points. That's about, what is it, 4 touchdowns? Or no, 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Is that right? I think that's right. Compared to Notre Dame not scoring anything. Not a touchdown, not a field goal. Hell, not even a safety. In the first half, like I said, Miami shut out Notre Dame 27-0. Just completely butchered them, figuratively speaking. I just couldn't believe I watched what I just watched. I mean, my God, man. Another thing is that this was the first time since 2002 that the Miami Hurricanes went 9-0. Yeah, they hadn't went in a 9-0 just undefeated on since the year 2002. That's the year that they went. What was it? Undefeated, I guess. 12-0. I last checked. When they were 9-0. So going into the season undefeated, somewhere like 9-0, and it was 2002 that they were last. That I last checked of when Miami was undefeated into going 9-0. But yeah, that was just Miami continued to this day to impress people like myself. Even though I hate the Miami Hurricanes and I can't stand them with a passion, I'd be lying if I said I'm not impressed with what they are doing right now. I'd be lying to you if I said that, because I was impressed by Miami. I'm actually at a loss for words, just based on the final score of the game, 41-8. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, I was going to say something and then I forgot what it was. But anyway, before they lost to Miami, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish last loss was against Georgia, who they lost to back in week 2. And in that game, Notre Dame lost to Georgia only by 1 point. And I think I mentioned this in my episode where I talked about the Georgia and Florida game. Yeah, I think I did mention that. So, yeah, this was Notre Dame's before this game. Notre Dame had their first loss to Georgia, and it was by 1 point, 20-19. That was the final score of that game. So, based on that, I was thinking to myself, Notre Dame might actually be the team that might be a better team than everybody expected them to be. And then somehow, some way, they lost pretty badly to Miami. Not just lost to Miami, lost pretty badly to Miami. Okay, this is the one I've been wanting to put down. This was the Hurricanes' first win so far this season that they scored over 40 points. I already told y'all the final score of the game, 41-8. This was the first time that this season that the Miami Hurricanes scored 40-plus points in a single game. And that's... For that, I just can't believe I'm about to say this, but I gotta give credit to Miami for doing that. I cannot believe those words just came out of my mouth. I really cannot believe it. But, I mean, it just has to be said, so, yeah. What else? Oh, yeah. The Miami Hurricanes gave up 8 points. This was the second time this season that they have not allowed more than 10 points, or not allowed 10 points. So what does that tell me? Well, what it tells me is that Miami, despite being in a few games where they almost lost, one of them being my Florida State Seminoles, even though they barely lost or won those games, a few games like the game against my Florida State Seminoles, the only games that Miami has not given up 10 points to was, other than this game, it was also against Duke back in week 3 when they beat the Blue Devils 31-6. Yeah, I just pretty much noticed that. The only reason how I know is because I checked Miami's schedule for this season, and they only had 2 games. This one and the game against Duke, where they had not given up 10 points against their opponents. So yeah, just want to point that out there. A week before this game, Miami won this year's ACC Coastal Division, and they will face Clemson in the ACC title game on December 2nd. Last time they met was in 2015 when Clemson shut out Miami 56-0? I thought it was 56-0. I could be wrong, but anyway. And I know this has nothing to do with this entire game, but I just want to point that out because it's pretty much something that I want to talk about in this episode. I mean, Miami hadn't been to the, ACC title game in a pretty much a long time. So, I don't know. It's probably good for them to be in the ACC title game against a really good ACC opponent. Anyway, I also just want to point that out there. Just, the game before this game. And probably the final thing that I will say for this episode is that Miami passed for 137 yards, rushed for 237 yards, twice as much as their passing yards. They had a great time of possession, which is 33 minutes and 59 seconds, nearly 34 minutes, and made 4 takeaways. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 takeaways. 2 of which were interceptions. And the other 2, I think, were fumbles. And then recovered by Miami. Compared to Notre Dame's 152 passing yards, 109 rushing yards, an okay time of possession, and an okay time of possession, which is 26 minutes and 1 second. And I'm not going to give you interceptions that they've given up because I already told you. I just already did. Miami already made 4 takeaways against Notre Dame, making Notre Dame gave up 4 turnovers and all that stuff. So yeah, it was pretty nuts just based on those stats. Yeah. So overall, the Miami Hurricanes have continued to stay undefeated this year. They have improved to their undefeated 9-0 record this season, and that's pretty good for them. They should be proud of themselves for being undefeated so far. They will not be undefeated for long, though. They have a few games that they need to look out for. One of them being the ACC title game against Clemson, for sure. But anyway, and unless the Clemson Tigers beat the Miami Hurricanes in the ACC championship game, Miami might as well be in the Final Four, and the Tigers will be out of it. And I'm afraid, and I'm hoping that will not happen. I'm hoping that won't happen. But you never know exactly how it will happen. I'm hoping Clemson will beat Miami in the ACC title game. I'm hoping that they will beat Miami, but something might not look good for Clemson when that game starts. But and that's, as much as I'm afraid that Miami might do some business against Clemson, at the same time, I'm also glad that we finally get to see Clemson and Miami, both top-ranked teams in the top 10, going up against each other. That makes some really good competition, and that's what I really want to see in college football, and I never get to see much of that. Although, I will say, there were pretty much a lot of top-ranked games this year than I have in the past few years. And that's pretty nuts. So, yeah, I'm guessing college football is now looking pretty good in terms of competition and the competitiveness from a lot of teams this year. So yeah, I think that's about it. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much my 19th, or was it my 19th? Yeah, 19th episode of Logan Battles Football Talk. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please click the like button and comment down below to let me know what you think of the Notre Dame and Miami game. Did you think Miami pulled off a really good upset against Notre Dame? Or did you think Notre Dame lost that game and not Miami winning that game? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to see future videos from me, please click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight. Peace!